Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, welcome. We're going to get back into more Amberlynn Reid videos. Now, quickly before we get into it, this is going to be a bit of a heavy one, so I completely understand if people want to skip it. That being said, this is going to be based around Emily and her ex-partners. Amber did just upload this video, and I saw it while currently editing my own videos for other stuff. So we're just going to quickly do this one and post that one because I feel like it should be talked about. And Amber does have just some terrible takes on this one. She really does. So I'm going to try and not have as much humor and be a little bit more adult about how I approach it. I just think it's it's just a very sensitive topic to talk about, and I think it should come with a level of respect more so than anything else. So let's get straight into the video, shall we?
Hello, welcome to a new video. So this is not clickbait. Yes, I will be talking about the things that are being said about Tommy. So I actually already have a couple videos, really exciting videos and happy videos filmed. I don't have them edited yet or anything like that, but I do have them up.
I know we're only 20 seconds into the video, but I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone, or most people in general, when we say we don't give two shits about the shit you filmed. Like, we just don't. We don't care about the content you're filming because this situation requires a lot of respect and nuance that you as a person just do not have. And also, why are you speaking for someone else when you weren't in that situation? You weren't there to see what happened. Why are you speaking for Emily when Emily should be speaking for herself? You could give Emily the camera, or you could sit there with Emily and be quiet while she speaks on what potentially happened. Also, nobody's going to really believe you or her because one, you are an abuser and a compulsive liar, and two, she's not exactly trustworthy because she's dating you. That kind of just speaks volumes to her judgment as a character. So, you speaking for her is only going to make the situation far worse. She should speak for herself.
That was what was going to be going up next. But since this has happened, I feel compelled. Like, there are a lot of times where rumors are happening and things are being said where I just keep my mouth shut. Maybe I'll like mention it like on the low, maybe like on Instagram or just in passing. But like this video is like strictly dedicated.
I understand what you're trying to do, but that's not a very good thing what you're saying. That's a very sly and underhanded thing to do. If you're not going to address the situation, all you're going to do is go to your secondary platforms like Instagram and TikTok and talk shit. That's not what you would assume most people would want you to do. You're going to do that and just really, you're not even going to address the situation. You're not going to admit your faults. You're not going to take accountability. You're just going to go talk shit and hope and pray that people are not going to talk about it.
I even wrote something because I wanted to be like in a clear mind. And as you guys know, I love to write. I love to journal. I'm able to collect my thoughts so much better in writing versus like speaking out loud. You guys know me. Like, your girl can't speak half the time.
Of course, Amberlynn. Amberlynn, of all people, can make someone else's potential DV situation about her. Like, how the hell can you speak on someone else's potential DV and go, yeah, but this is about me. This is about me. My God, Amber. This is why people can't stand you. Also, you don't need to collect your thoughts because your thoughts are not important. You are getting secondhand information from someone who's potentially an abuser. So nobody cares about your thoughts.
And I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of anxiety right now filming this video. And when I am anxious, my brain does not work correctly. Like, words do not come out correctly. I just feel very...
You know, that's rather interesting, Amber, because I myself have anxiety, and if I went through a situation in which I found out my partner went through a DV situation, and people are speaking on them potentially being the aggressor in that situation, even though they were the victim, I would not have anxiety. I would be extremely pissed off. I would be far from having anxiety. I would be extremely pissed. Now, you saying that you have anxiety really is just a way of you garnering more sympathy because that's what you do. You use your mental health as a justification for any potential mishaps that may happen when you talk about a serious topic. So instead of trying to garner sympathy, how about you actually get Emily on the camera and let her speak for herself?
like a lot. It just feels like a lot right now. So I decided to write like in journal form, the way that I would write in my journal. And I am going to read it to you guys because it's going to help me because I do feel very anxious and I do want to like have collective thoughts. I don't want to forget anything. And this is very important to me that I get this out in this moment.
Oh my God, this is just about her. Like, literally, this entire situation is a DV situation. A lot of serious things happen, and yet the entire time she's just speaking on herself. My content, me writing a journal form, my feelings. I need to collect my thoughts. I'm having anxiety. Who gives a shit about you? My God, Amber.
So before I read it, I just want to explain, like, in short form, this is about a reaction channel who was contacted by Tommy's ex-girlfriend's ex-wife. And this woman was immediately put on a pedestal, and everything that she said was believed. People have taken everything that she said as gospel and as truth, because a lot of you want someone to hate, and it's easy for you guys to hate Tommy for whatever reason. You guys don't know her in person like I do, and I'm telling you, she is lovable and likable, and I am happy and in love with her. And I know a lot of people want to, like, twist this, like, really dark narrative, but I'm telling you, it's not real.
People don't trust Tommy because she's willing to associate with you, as well as the past actions that she has committed that kind of leads her into getting the titles of which she gets. You know, people didn't automatically assume that she's a feeder because of just dating you. It's because her ex was overweight. It was because the women that she was in the DMs were overweight. It's because her baby daddy is overweight. It's because every single person that she has dated that we know of is overweight. That's the reason why people think she's a feeder. There's also the fact that she has done photos and videos and content of feederism content. So you can't exactly, you know, blame us for seeing a pattern, recognizing a pattern, and then calling it out. It's the same thing with her dating emotionally vulnerable people or people who are very insecure themselves. We are seeing the pattern that she is creating. And that's not our fault, that is her fault. And you can say that she's loving and this and that and the third, but it doesn't matter because abusers are always loving and caring in the beginning of the relationship. That's how love bombing works. That is how manipulation works. You would know this because you yourself insert yourself into places where you don't belong, and then you start doing the emotional and mental abuse. Oh, sometimes physical abuse, from what Casey, Crystal, that you self-bragged about doing to Crystal, and potentially even Alexis said about you and Wifey. There was also the situations with Destiny and throwing the can at the car. So, like, there's a lot of different situations that create both you and her being abusive people, and the fact that you're willing to both associate with each other just overlaps people seeing even more red flags. Because if she's willing to date you after seeing all the content and reaction channel videos that people have made about you, and you yourself have made for yourself that you posted online, and she can't see the red flags, why would we want to trust her to begin with? And then on top of that, all the information that's come out about her, why would we want to trust someone who associates with a known abuser and dates a known abuser? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
So I'm sorry I couldn't be, like, a little more put together, and I'm sorry that I'm bad with my words. The fact that I have to literally look like this and read to you guys, but it's what is going to work best for me, which I have done this before, and it's usually only during, like, super, like, anxiety inducing situations for me. And I do it in my real life as well. There are a multitude of times in my life where instead of, like, speaking to someone, I will write something and then I'll read it off to them. It's helpful, it's therapeutic. I learned it years and years ago, actually in therapy, probably like when I was like 17 or something. And ever since then, it has greatly helped me. But I am sorry that I will be facing this way the whole time.
We are several minutes into this video and she is still just talking about herself. Also, every time she smirks or she does that little smile thing, which is like the dupe is the light crap that she pulls every single time she gets called out for something, and it's probably not just the dupe is the light, it's her just smiling and smirking throughout the entire video, is annoying as hell. Like, you're addressing a situation, you need to be a little bit more respectful and have a little bit, just be respectful about it. Why the hell are you smirking about a serious topic? Why are you talking about yourself about a serious topic? Like, stop talking about yourself, stop smiling, stop smirking, stop trying to insert your mental health into a situation that people don't give two shits about, because your mental health is not important in this situation. Nobody cares about your mental health right now.
But, yeah, please hear me. Like, please hear me. I know there's a difference between, like, listening to someone and that's that, goes in one ear and out the other, and you build your assumptions and you don't really care. But, like, I need you guys to hear what I am saying, please. I truly hate that I have to do this. I want my channel to reflect what's real in my life and not constantly having to make videos like this, defending Tommy's character because of a reaction channel who is so hungry for views and money and hot tea that they have created a whole false storyline that has thousands and thousands of people believing it. It's unfair to me, and it's unfair to Tommy. This
It's unfair to you, Amber. It is totally unfair to you, not the person who potentially was a victim in a devious situation. She doesn't go first. It's you. You have to acknowledge yourself before you acknowledge your partner in the situation who was potentially a victim. God, just the narcissism. Even in a situation that doesn't even involve her, she was nowhere to be seen, and yet somehow it revolves around her. Yeah, Amber, this video is going to go over like a lead balloon for two reasons. First and foremost, the projection of you saying it goes in one ear and out the other, and people are not actively listening to you, is exactly what you do with every reaction channel. Secondly, the condescension is going to do nothing but create more animosity towards you and Emily, because people don't like the fact that you're being condescending in the best of times, let alone condescending in a situation like this. And the people that are willing to give you a chance, even fence sitters or someone who may be persuaded by your words or the acknowledgement of the things that may be done with information and with evidence, would be turned off by this video. Obviously, you're not going to have any evidence in this video, but the fact that you are going to speak in such a way, even people that are willing to give you a chance are automatically going to be like, oh, hell no.
This is not the first time this reaction channel has done this. They have platformed a few people as long as they were willing to spill tea and share whatever could cause me or other people in my life to look bad for their benefit.
Yes, because apparently Amber is the only one that's allowed to talk shit about her friends, family members, and partners. Nobody else is allowed to do it, only Amber.
Been some serious misrepresentations made in a recent video on that reaction channel about an extremely painful chapter in Tommy's life. The video, which talks about a domestic violence situation involving Tommy and her ex, fails to include important facts, so it paints a false and harmful narrative. And I want to be very clear. Tommy is the victim here, not the one at fault.
I try to have a nuanced approach when it comes to these type of situations because ultimately we don't know what's going down. And if we don't have information, so it's just a, she said situation. And with these type of situations, an allegation is only just a story until proof is provided. And we don't have the proof or all of the proof right now. I know there is some evidence that's being shown from, I believe, the exes, and Geordie, which I haven't quite seen that just yet. I'm still going to be checking that out to make a follow-up video. Probably I'll have to just check out and see what's going on with that. That being said, Amber, you can't speak for sure like you know the situation because you weren't there, and you can't say that Emily is the victim in the situation because you don't know that. You don't have the information to know that. And you also say that she essentially got the other person charged. A lot of situations when it comes to DV is that it's kind of not a 50, it's not automatically like down the middle 50-50, but a lot of the times in the situations, it's both sides have some part in that role. Now, that's not saying I'm blaming all victims. I'm not doing that. We're not going to do that at all. I'm saying that in a lot of DV situations, both people play a role in it. Now, this may not be that situation, that kind of situation, but usually that's how it goes. There is also something called reactive abuse. Someone gets pushed into a state where they are so just mentally and emotionally vulnerable, wrecked, just tired, wide, exhausted, run down, broken down, torn down, whatever it may be, and they react in a negative way. They may not intentionally mean to hurt someone, or they may not do that if they were in the proper mind. If they were if they weren't pushed to such a hyper reactive state, they wouldn't act in that way. And their reactive abuse is a fight or flight instinct, usually caused from trauma or just the current situation that's going through. So I'm not saying that the partner was in the right, but I'm saying that the partner may not potentially have done what they did if they weren't being abused. Again, we don't know the full situation, and I'm waiting for all the information to come out. I am simply providing a potential potential reason why it might have happened. Amber goes and says that, oh, well, she was charged. Okay. People get falsely accused of crimes a lot. And there is also people that get pushed into doing a crime, even though they don't intentionally do it or don't want to do it, and they then get blamed for being the abuser. Situations like that happened. You can't automatically believe someone without evidence in the same way that you say that we can't believe someone without evidence. You have to take and give, Amber. You can't simply just say, oh, well, Tommy said so, that's perfectly fine. Okay, well, then we can do the exact same thing if you're going to do that. So you have to give and take in the same way that we also have to give and take.
The details in the video were based on inaccurate and incomplete information from a third party with a clear agenda. Someone who
Exactly like you are doing right now. You are the third party giving your own information without evidence. So that right there just proves that you are a hypocrite.
has openly stated that their goal was to get revenge for their own personal reasons, and even admitted that they've tried to get revenge in the past.
I still have a level of skepticism when it comes to the ex potentially having the information, and I would like to see more of the evidence first before I say, yeah, she's telling the truth. But it does take like some sort of situation to have that level of hate, because I saw some of the texts and stuff too. Like, I did watch a couple of other reaction videos, and I saw some of the evidence, and it does take like a level of just anger to like something has to happen to have that level of anger, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't just automatically have that level of hatred for someone.
This kind of victim shaming is not only misleading, it's downright disgusting. It wasn't a simple incident in a garage. As you can see from the charges listed about Tommy's ex, there was a weapon involved. A weapon. Please just think about that for a minute. With multiple ways to escape a garage, Tommy couldn't. Think about why. The truth is that her abuser was charged with felony charges for their actions, and Tommy has spent years working on healing and working through trauma her ex caused.
And again, I want to point out there are situations in which people go to reactive abuse and they do something that they ordinarily wouldn't do. Again, not defending the person or what they've done. I'm simply saying that some people get to the point where they believe the only way out is by doing such an extreme thing. And just because that happened does not automatically mean that Emily was the victim in the situation. I want to see more information and see the whole story unfold, the whole situation unfold, before I go, okay, X or Y. Like, I can't choose one side or the other because I don't have all the information. And you willing to choose to believe Emily would be the same thing as us automatically believing the X and the allegations that she has put out with Jordan. You can't automatically just go, oh, okay, well, I believe Emily because she's speaking the truth, and then get upset if we were to do the exact same thing. Not saying that reaction channels or the people that follow reaction channels do that. Most of us have a level of skepticism, but Amber, she perceives it that way, that we automatically believe, which is not entirely true. We see a pattern and we assume the pattern may potentially be true, but we have a level of skepticism with that assumption. We go, oh, okay, so this may be true, but if it comes out, we are willing to see the information, understand the information, and actually change our opinions and our mind. And I've always said that. If information comes out and something that I said that I believe is an opinion is wrong, I'm willing to fully admit that. I'm going to make mistakes. I will always admit that I'm wrong. Like, I have zero problems in doing that because I understand that I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. There's going to be times where I make mistakes. You can't automatically believe someone just because they say something, Amber. And that is where you want to kind of say that other people do the same thing, even though we don't. We really don't. We don't, well, not all of us. I'm not going to say all of us, have that type of level of skepticism, but the majority of us do.
A lot of people are saying that Tommy must have provoked her into holding her hostage with a weapon for hours. If that were true, Tommy's ex would not have been convicted. Provoking someone or self-defense, it would not have gotten her ex convicted for the millionth time.
So you're saying that because someone is convicted that they are guilty and that nobody is falsely accused of a crime or falsely charged and imprisoned? So you're saying that not a single person in the entire world has ever, or even in the history, living or dead right now, has never been falsely accused and put in prison because of a crime that they did not commit, or because of a crime that they were forced into doing, or potentially did in such a over distressed state or such a stressed state that they reacted in a way that was not appropriate. You're saying that simply because someone is convicted, therefore they did it and they deserve the punishment they get, not wanting to understand the situation, the context of the situation, or the nuance that goes into the situation.
Period. It's incredibly hurtful to see the narrative twisted in this way, and I feel compelled to speak out because no one should ever be made to feel like they are the perpetrator when they are the victim. Domestic violence is a serious issue, and we should be lifting up those who have suffered, not blaming them. I stand by Tommy because I know the full story.
No, you do not have the full story, Amber. You are getting one side from the person that potentially is the abuser in the situation. So you can't say that you have the full story. Also, you would like to speak on that? How about you speak on Casey? Speak on Casey. Also, speak on Crystal. Also, speak on Wifey. All of the things that you've potentially done that you don't want to talk about. You want to speak up and you want to speak for someone else's defense. Speak for your own defense and the things that you have done.
And I've known the full story the whole time. These people have decided to leave out, and I quote, "I don't want to go into details." That is what this person said. when talking about Tommy being falsely imprisoned by her ex.
Oh, okay, so therefore, if someone's not willing to go into details, they have something to hide. Does that mean that you yourself have something to hide when you don't go into details about stories?
Why? Why? Because it would leave people empathizing with Tommy. Instead, this person has exaggerated, lied, left out important information, and continues to create outrage against Tommy because they want revenge. This is the only way they know how to do it, and I want to make something very clear that the abuse that Tommy endured is real, and she deserves justice and support, not ridicule and not doubt.
Now, I can understand the nuance of the situation, say that Emily must have been scared or terrified in this situation if it did happen. And I can understand that even if Emily was in that situation and she did create a situation where a reactive abuse occurred and that weapon was pulled on the by that person because they were in such a hyper stressed state and they were so emotionally distressed they went to that next level, I can understand that it's still scary and that it's still terrifying. I'm not going to say that her emotions are invalid because it is a valid thing, even when you are the person that is pushing the other person into that state. Being in a situation where you could potentially lose your life is always going to be scary. Like, regardless of how, how much nerves of steel you have, you're going to be scared on potentially losing your life. So I can understand and agree a little bit depending on whether or not the situation happened and whether or not it was caused by reaction of abuse or not. So I'm willing to concede a little bit, but I want more information before I give, ass pats and Tommy. Now, that being said, I am going to say that I don't necessarily agree with people automatically believing someone is a victim because I myself have been falsely accused of crimes before. I've been falsely accused of stealing from a job I used to work at, and I was falsely accused by someone who was also going to be given a management job because I was considered for the job and that other person was considered for the job too. I was falsely accused of stealing by that person, and it wasn't until after the footage was reviewed and I was just already to the point where I quit because people automatically believed that I was stealing, which never ever happened. And even though I was placed on leave until the footage and everything was reviewed and it was proven that I didn't do it, that I felt a type of way. And it wasn't until after I kind of stepped outside that and said, all right, they did what they had to do. They were doing protocol. They understood that even though now I was proven innocent, they still had to do protocol and they still had to kind of have that level of skepticism. Even though I had never done anything before that point to kind of paint me in a bad light, they still had to take a level of skepticism when they were judging the situation. So even though I felt a type of way, I still understood why they did the things that they did in the first place. So I'm not going to say that I expect other people to automatically believe me when I'm falsely accused. I really don't. Like, it's going to be a little bit worse if you have people that have known you for such a long time, that are friends and family, that care about you, and you are falsely accused, and then they don't believe you. Like, that is going to be, it's going to hurt like hell. But I still understand and agree that you need to have a unbiased take on some situations.
Definitely does not deserve a reaction channel making a spectacle over something that Tommy has spent years trying to heal from. Having this come to light, speculated about, and joked about has left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'll tell you that for sure. I have been distant from YouTube already due to the harsh things that have been said and have been lied about. Certain reaction channels have only gotten worse as the time goes on. My channel has been boring. It went through a law, so they've been starving. Because of that, they've lost their minds, and they're actively painting a narrative about Tommy that isn't real.
How the hell do you loop this back around to you just being a YouTuber and people finding it boring, so they're falsely accusing your partner of a crime that could potentially happen, Amber? Like, again, you don't know the situation, and yet you're saying that it's simply because people think your content is boring? Like, how do you even come up with these things in your head? Like, wow, my God.
Bringing in anonymous strangers to the storyline and believing every word that is being said, all while using the word allegedly. So YouTube terms of service isn't broken by them, and so the law doesn't get involved for actual slander and defamation.
That is so incredibly disingenuous because you are assuming intent simply based on what you perceive to be their intent from your own opinion. You can't just say someone is doing this because they want a preface. They are putting the information out there and they're saying, hey, this is an accusation. This is allegedly what people are saying, and this is allegedly what happened. Now, you can't say that people are assuming negative intent and are creating this and simply just tacking on allegedly at the end to not get sued, because you don't know that's the truth. People are allowing others to form their own opinions by saying allegedly, by saying that this may not be the truth. This may be the truth, but it may also not be the truth. You can't say that people are doing that just to preface and not get sued, because that would be an assumption on your part. Which, I mean, also, you yourself are putting this out there as if it's the truth, as if this is gospel, without being in that situation yourself and seeing what happened. So you are taking secondhand information and doing the exact same thing that you are claiming that other people are doing.
If you guys ever wanted to know what slander and defamation looks like, it has been months and months of what Tommy has been experiencing since certain reaction channels found out who she was. This has altered Tommy's life, and I have witnessed it. It has also altered mine. Without revealing how, I'm pretty sure it's apparent. Imagine something like this happening to you. Thank you to those who have been supportive and continue to believe in the truth and don't follow the crowd. I see you, and I'm sorry that the hate and the rumors are louder right now, but I still see you, and I love you dearly. To those spreading misinformation, I hope you take a moment to consider the impact your words have and the harm caused when the real victims are silenced or blamed.
And how about you take your ego from your own ass and have a level of skepticism towards your partner's words like everybody else? You were saying the exact same thing and doing the exact same thing that you're blaming other people of not doing. They are not doing what you were saying they are doing, and you were saying exactly what you perceive to be the truth, which is exactly going against your own words, you massive ass hypocrite, and yet somehow you believe she is telling the truth and yet get offended when other people don't believe she is telling the truth. So take your own advice, Amber, and stop trying to place the blame on other people for you doing the exact same thing you accuse of other people doing.
It's easy for reaction channels to say whatever they want because they know their words have impact and their audience believes whatever is said to them. This situation just proves it. Tommy was majorly abused, held hostage for hours in a garage with a weapon, and I don't feel comfortable saying what the weapon was, but use your brain for this one, please. And she was finally able to escape, and her ex went to prison for it and now has a felony. But somehow this reaction channel was able to manipulate their audience into believing that Tommy is the abuser. This is why victims do not share their story. And the sad thing is, Tommy didn't share hers. Someone else did. And it wasn't even the right story. It's unfair, it's twisted, and it's morally wrong.
Rain and Petals eavesdrop, Amber.
This isn't a game. This isn't for money. This isn't for views. This is Tommy's real life that is being ruined, and her mental health is being destroyed. The victim blaming, all because people want drama and someone to hate, is the grossest thing I've ever seen happen on Gurl World. And thank you, Jordy, for reminding me why I hate this community and why I do not belong here anymore. This should have never happened.
Then delete your channel. You want to get out of Gurl World? Delete your channel, get a full-time job, work your ass off, and actually do something with your life. You want to do something other than do YouTube? Go ahead and delete your channel. It is that simple. You cannot complain for being in a part of a community that you actively still choose to be part of. Delete the channel.
I should not have had to do this. Tommy should not have had her personal domestic violence abuse story used for views and money on a reaction channel. That's not a reaction. That is downright hatred. And people wonder why I don't want to upload. People wonder why, where I am. Why do I seem so sad every time I come on camera? This is why. Because before it was, Amberlynn's so fat. She needs to lose weight. Step on the scale. Step on the scale. But now.
And here we go again, back to me. Alright guys, the last couple of minutes is her just crying about how she's the victim, everything is, you know, unfair, she has BPD, her girlfriend's now the victim, bad mental health, blah blah blah, same shtick she does every single time. She doesn't even really address anything or even provide any information other than the fact that a certain weapon was pulled and held Tommy for hours, which again, I'm not going to say that, you know, she deserved it, but I'm saying that reaction abuse is a thing. It could potentially have been the reason why it happened in the first place. So you can't automatically just say that she was the victim in the situation because you don't understand the context and you weren't there, Amber. I'm not really going to address the last couple of minutes because it's her literally just using poor mental health as an excuse to really cry, which is just Amber's go-to for everything. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do apologize for being, you know, it's just a very sensitive topic again, and I hope you guys, you know, aren't affected by it. So please, If it's something you don't want to watch, I completely understand. Don't push yourself into believing that you need to watch this. I hope you guys also have a good day, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.